got done with a really, really solid, intentful practice. For us to review last week, Thursday night, as unique of a first quarter as probably I've ever been a part of. But the biggest part that I'm proud of is we started incredibly fast on both sides of the ball. Started as good as you possibly could imagine defensively, and then offensively, once the offense got out on the field, to be able to go and score on defense twice, to be able to go score in the first 6 possessions offensively, I thought as clean of a start as you can ever have. Obviously, the punt where it hits our guy and they get the ball back, but then for our defense to stand up and hold them to a field goal, just some really, really cool stuff. I thought played really physical, played really fast, played really intentful coming off of a bye week, and I was proud of our guys. I think on the flip, you saw a bunch of guys go in there in the second half. We got starters out right there, right in the middle of the third quarter. There's a bunch of young guys that played, a bunch of guys that have been itching to play. And for some, it was some really good moments. And I think for a lot, it was a wake-up call of, man, you feel like you should play. Here's the evidence of how much growth you got to make to be able to play at this level consistently. And it was as extended of a period that our backups got to play. So there was some incredible teaching there. I think as positive as anything, to be able to play about 45 snaps defensively with your starters, be able to get them out for what you expect to be a really, really physical game here coming up. And then offensively about 55 snaps, and to be able to get guys out for what you would expect to be a really, really physical game here Saturday. So for us, we got a couple extra days going into a normal game week for us. We were able to clean up the game on Saturday with our guys. We're able to put it to bed. That way, when we got rocking with them on Sunday into Monday, we were able to get a jump start in a lot of ways, which you need as you get ready for a really, really good Navy team. Going on the road, early game, really 2 things we've not done well this season. So for us, a incredible focus on what Navy does, how they do it. The guys that were here a year ago knew and saw firsthand what level of preparation it takes to be able to go. The biggest challenge to our guys and the biggest message to our guys right now is elite teams find a way to improve as they go here in November. Elite teams find a way to stay focused. Elite teams continuously get better week to week to week as you go into a run here where every single play, every single series, every single thing that you're doing is critically important. And the challenge to our team is, can we find a way to improve in all 3 phases, starting individually by group into unit, and then working as a team to continuously get better. Easier said than done. We've gone through and emphasized with every single guy on this team what it is that they need to do to improve as you go here. Getting ready for a Navy team. Coach Newberry, I've gotten to know so well here over the last couple of years. As good of a football coach as we've got in our league, gets as much out of his guys as anybody in what they do, really in all 3 sides of the ball. But offensively starts for them with their quarterback. Missed last week. We'll see what it looks like this week for him, but didn't play against Notre Dame Saturday night. But as special of a player as there is in this conference, as efficient of a quarterback as there is in this league, and what he's done on the ground is just as impressive as what he's done through the air. 64% completion percentage. He's got almost 1,000 yards rushing. And you look at the GPS times, he's running by everybody and has single-handedly taken games over. So much respect for him. Got to see him 3 years ago as a young guy. Got to see him last year in person. But what he's done single-handedly is just really, really impressive. Obviously, what they do is different. What they do creates a ton of matchups, tests your eye discipline, tests everything you have integrity-wise defensively, gap sound, eyes, fits, the ability to tackle. The wings and the fullbacks are really, really good. 22 is the career leader in touchdown catches for them out of the backfield. They're physical at tight end. They're really, really solid at wide out. They can run at wide out. On the O-line, young across the board, but are physical as all get out. And they've been as good as anybody in the country offensively this year. You know, you have this stigma of what Navy does offensively. They just run the ball up and down the field. They've thrown it incredibly well. I think when they changed offenses a year ago, it's done wonders for them. But they're top 10 in the country in third downs and red zone offense and yards per attempt, yards per completion. 10th in the country in explosive runs, and you're not talking 3 games into the season. You're talking week 10 here. So they've done an incredible job offensively. A ton of respect for what they do, and then defensively, again, I think so disruptive for what they lack in size. They make up in scheme with what they do. Incredibly disruptive up front. Incredibly disruptive from a blitz package standpoint. They've got one of the best D linemen in our entire conference. Just all over the place up front. Twist game, blitz package. And they do a good job of forcing the quarterback to make really fast decisions, play really hard at linebacker. And then the DBs are young, and they've done an incredible job of forcing people to get rid of the ball quickly, to not expose the back end. And special teams play really, really hard, have a ton that they do schematically, really good in the punting game, really good in the kicking game. So for us, it truly is going to be about us being the best version of us on Saturday. We've got to have a road focus, which for us, as it always is, we got to be elite on special teams. We got to be really opportunistic on offense, and then we got to be detailed and play as hard as we've ever played defensively to be able to stop these guys. But like I said, ton of respect for what they do, how they do it. It'll be an incredible game, national TV again, for a lot riding on these next 3, starting with this one. So really excited. Like I said, really, really good Tuesday practice, high energy, incredible intent. We've got to carry it over through the rest of the day into tomorrow. So did get a little bit of weather, some wind today, which hopefully gives us a level of prep for Saturday, which we would expect up there. So questions?
Alex, you talked about stressing individual improvements and everything this week. What's the individual improvement for Byron right now after the game he had the other night?
Yeah, I think for him, the continuous growth of seeing things from a progression pass game, he's gotten better and better every single week of being able to go from read 1 to read 2 to read 3. You've seen him extend plays at a high clip. There was an incredible scramble play up the sideline to Alvon Isaac. Just at times where he's pulled it and made a decision off of his initial read or second read, he's continuing to extend it to create explosives that way. I think continuously growing there in the progression pass game, and he's shown as much improvement as we could have ever hoped for, but I think continuing to take the next step here as he goes, that would probably be the biggest thing for him.
Coach, how important is it to get the lead against a team like Navy that has the propensity to want to play hide and seek, and they get the lead?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just understanding that the possessions are limited. You've got to take full advantage of them. The time of possession piece is not going to go in our favor because they're going to be able to hold on to the ball. They're going to be able to extend drives. They always have and always will. So you got to make every possession count. More than anything else, it's going to be points per possession, and you've got to be able to get them. The lead part, obviously, that's what we're striving for. You know the way we play offense here. We're going to find every way that we can to play fast, to make people defend us. The execution piece is what separates it. We've got to take advantage of every possession. They force teams to have the least possessions in the country. Teams have had 10 to 10.5 possessions a game. You got to create some turnovers to try to get yourself to 11 and 12 and 13, which, again, our defense up until this point is done as good a job as anybody in the country, but taking advantage of the possessions more than anything else.
You alluded to this a little earlier, but how important from a confidence standpoint is it for this team to go on the road, play an early game against a really good team and maybe bad weather in terms of just taking one more step toward being able to accomplish the things they want to do.
Yeah, I think it's November and you're in the thick of a conference race. I would tell you our guys have elite confidence. I don't know if you would need to go do something spectacular to continue to have elite confidence. I think we just got to go play our game. And when we're the best version of us, we're highly confident, we're highly effective. We've got to take advantage of every opportunity given to us, and then we got to go create some. And we just talked about creating possessions offensively, but I would tell you we're a really confident group. We're right now really bought into our process, our daily process of continuing to improve, our daily process of creating elite habits. We're not perfect by any means, but we're continuing to get better. And that's all you can ask for right now. November, the ability to focus. That's been, I think, my biggest challenge to our guys is that the level of focus as you go has to be at an elite level. I think it's easy to lose focus as things are going, and we're continuously, as coaches, putting pressure on them to continue to get better and better, which you want it to continue to create an elite level of focus, but ultimately the team that can be the most focused, the most detailed, on top of being the most physical, is the team that's going to win the game. But I think from a confidence standpoint, you gain confidence through your preparation every day rather than an outcome.
Coach, this is your first game with your former athletic director, Michael Kelly, on the opposing sideline. Can you just speak on what he meant for you and your coaching career and what it would be like with him on the opposing sideline on Saturday? Yeah,
you think MK is going to be on the sideline? He's been a press box guy since I've known him. But if he's going to come down the sideline, it'd be awesome. Get a chance to watch it firsthand. But I would imagine he's up in the box raising money. That's a joke. You could smile. MK was a phenomenal partner to me. Obviously, gave me an opportunity to come here and gave me a chance as a first-time head coach to go do it. And as a partner, certainly helped me in every imaginable way build a program. Allowed us to go do it our way, which is what he promised at the front end. Allowed us to have the time we need to lay a foundation. Allowed us the time and the resources to be able to go hire an elite staff as we felt like we needed to go hire more people. He allowed us to do so. Was a great partner, positive in every way. And I hope that we've returned the favor in a lot of ways. But no, he was a great partner. Still get texts from MK congratulating us, and I think he certainly loves this place and was ready for a new challenge. And for him, I think incredible at that point in his career to be able to go home, be around family, and work at a great place that he works at. So no hard feelings. But if he's down on the field, man, that would be big time for him.
Coach, you talked a little bit about this earlier. It's going to be a little bit brisk up in Annapolis. How important is it to get the players used to what they could see on Saturday with the weather like today?
Yeah, today was awesome. No outfit change for me. Look at me, tough guy from the Midwest. No, I thought our guys were actually looked forward to it. I thought it was really intentional. Maybe a couple more leggings and a couple more sleeves out there, but man, our skill guys didn't wear sleeves. They know that on game day they can't. But I thought it was great, more so than even the cold. The wind today was really good to get that. We were able to work our kicking game in the wind, which is huge, but we're able to throw the ball around. But I think certainly can't hurt.
When you look at the season Byram's having, and the stats are endless and enormous and very impressive, how much does his performance fuel everyone's confidence with what he's doing on a weekly basis?
Yeah, I think more than anything else, and I've said this before, I think what his performance week in, week out does is it creates a level of confidence in the entire team because of the way he does it more than anything else. I think stats are one thing. I think the mental approach energizes everybody around him. I think his work ethic, his process, and I literally the first person I asked when I said, man, what do we got to improve in our process individually? And I asked Byram and gave you a list of things that he's got to improve on, which is what makes him who he is. I think he energizes, he invigorates the entire program with his process, with his work ethic, and then the way he plays the game, the physical approach to the game. He feeds off of an explosive run where he puts his shoulder down on somebody. He feeds off of a big completion, and then he's the first guy down there to celebrate. He's the best version of him right now, and I think as he continues to have this elite level confidence, it gives the entire program confidence. No secret, if the quarterback can be your hardest worker, can be one of your best leaders, and then on top of being one of your best players, I think it gives confidence in the entire program. When the defensive guys see a guy truck stick somebody, step over him, and come right back and do it again, gives them an edge that you certainly want. But really proud of the growth he's made, just one as a football player, two as a human being, but three as a leader, as somebody that's not shying away from what it looks like to have elite level process day in, day out.
Speaking of growth, Alex, how about Nakai and the job he's done for you the last few weeks? He's literally, figuratively taking the ball and run with it, right?
Yeah, Nakai is a young man that as a freshman was banged up, and we went into spring and really didn't know what we were going to have there in terms of the player. He's worked incredibly hard since he's been here, but he was literally hurt virtually his entire freshman year. We knew what we saw in high school film. We knew the human being that he is, which is just a really quiet, humble, hardworking kid that now is still quiet, still humble, still hardworking, but now has this elite level of confidence that he's earned to have. Earned the right to have, I should say. But he's brought a really, really physical approach back in the backfield, both in the protection side and the run game itself, which we lost some of that when we lost Cartavius, and have been really looking for that part of our game in terms of not just being able to get the ball out in space, but being able to go get hard yards inside. And he's certainly stepped his game up. He's earned the right to play as much as he's playing. We need him to continue to get better and better, but he's earned every single snap he's gotten. It's been really, really impressive to watch, and honestly, I've pointed to Nakai in a lot of ways within our program of, look, here's a young guy, a redshirt freshman that didn't really know just a ton about coming in, but he's just steadily worked and been the same guy every single day. It's been really impressive, similar to a jump that like a Keyshawn Singleton made a year ago. You see guys in our program, Christian Neptunes is doing the same thing, and Jeremiah Coger's doing the same thing. These guys that early on in the season gained a bunch of confidence on special teams, played a little bit, earned the right to play more, and again, right now are playing their best football, which is absolutely huge. And for us in the backfield, as we've had some injuries and have had to have guys step up, he's continuously just stepped up and forced us to play him. Talk all the time about, man, make us play you. Like, dude, just make us play you. Show us what you can do it consistently, do it at an elite level every single day. He's been that for us.
How about your punting? Sparkling the first half of the season, perhaps not so the last couple of weeks. How's that looking heading into Navy?
Yeah, I was really disappointed with really the Memphis game. I think we all were with the ability to flip the field, just the inconsistency there. We've certainly challenged both those guys to go get it. Gave Luke an opportunity last week. That was really up and down. They split the reps today. I think just the ability for both of those guys to be the best version of them on game day. We've looked at a lot of different process things in game to give those guys confidence. They're both really inexperienced in terms of just purely game day. They're about as good at practice players as you've ever seen. So we need it to translate. It's been a huge point of emphasis. I think they'll continue to improve. They're even though Chase is older, he's only played a year of college football leading into this. Luke has never played football. So it's both of those guys continue to push each other and get better, but we need it to be better. We have to have it be better for us to play the elite level special teams that we need to. But I think they'll continue to get better. Like today was a really solid day for them in the wind. There was some challenges out there, but we need them to get better.
Coach, first time in your tenure here, you're playing an extremely meaningful football game in November. Is there a different vibe in your locker room knowing that this next game is that important?
I would tell you that my hope is not. My hope is if we are truly process-driven, that we're not. And I've taken that same approach in every single aspect of our program. You don't ever want to make one game bigger than the next. You don't want to make it bigger than another one. Obviously, these guys know they're playing for something. These guys know that, and I talked about it after we had our 6th win. The feeling in the locker room was different. There was no conversation of a 6th win. There was no bowl-bound T-shirts given out. That's not the standard. I said it the last 2 years when we got to our 6th win. That was never the standard. And so I think they know that they're playing meaningful football. Obviously, they know that the game is important, but they all are. And for us, it's about us being the best version of us come Saturday, which is our process being elite throughout the week. But I've not classified it as an extremely meaningful game or an extremely anything. I think when you do that, you're then diminishing anything after that. They're all really important, but more important than the game itself on Saturday is us taking advantage of today. And I know you get sick of me saying that, but it's truly the case, because if you live this roller coaster lifestyle up and down based on who you're playing, then it's going to look like that. And that's what we've tried to eliminate in this program, is the inconsistency week to week.
Coach, is there any update on the status of Chaz Nimrod?
Yeah, so Chaz tried to go through warm-ups last week. It's truly a pain tolerance deal for him at this point. He practiced today. He's getting better every single day. The expectation is that he would play on Saturday, but like I've said a million times in here, we would never put him out there if he's not healthy enough to go be the best version of himself. He's trying. He's dying to go play football. Last time he played was North Texas, and itching as much as anybody. When he left the field, he was one of the best wideouts in this league, and I would argue one of the better wideouts in the country, and he's itching to get out and, one, help us win, but two, show everybody that he's still the same guy.
Byram's season and numbers are certainly worthy of national recognition. It's November, the time when those things get sorted out. Do you feel the need to advocate for him, or is it just look at the numbers and let the chips fall where they may?
Who do you think would listen to me, Joe? We got Matt's here today. Which is
I
huge,
saw Matt
national
I saw Matt
athletic
Watkins.
reporter. Yeah.
I've never heard of this guy, please.
Man, I don't know if that's my job to advocate. His play should continue to speak for itself. And I said it after the game. I think Byram is certainly one of the best players in the country, not just one of the best quarterbacks in the country. He changes games in the way he plays, changes games in the way he performs week in, week out. That's for somebody else to decide, and he would tell you the same thing. I think the recognition piece comes as you continue to have success, but I think he's also smart enough to understand that the recognition piece comes as the team has success. Really good players on really bad teams generally don't get a whole lot of recognition, so he's got to continue to go play and finish this thing the right way, and the recognition stuff will come. I would tell you that he would tell you it's the last thing on his mind. He wants to go win Saturday in Annapolis.
With all the money that's in the game now, how do you determine if a kid is going to come here because for him it's the best chance, best opportunity to play for the most money, or whether or not he'll buy into your system? How do you determine how much he'll buy in?
Yeah, I would tell you pretty simple. You're talking about on the recruiting side? I would tell you really, really simple. That's always, since this whole thing started, I think philosophically for me and for us as a program, it's always the last piece of the conversation. It's a piece of the conversation because it has to be, because that's what it is. But for us, it's the last piece of the conversation. We recruit guys, high school guys certainly, for as long as you can possibly imagine. Now in year 3, everybody that we've got committed, everybody that we plan to sign here in a couple weeks, we've had long-standing relationships with. So you feel like you've built a relationship that's based on trust, based on the right things that you want it to be based on. Guys that want to come here because they want to be a part of this program, they want to go to school here, they want to live in Tampa. There's a lot of factors that go into why they would come here. It's always been the last piece of the conversation. In the portal, it's a little bit different because if you don't have a previous relationship, or at least I don't have a previous relationship, it's speed dating. It happens way quicker. but it still is the last piece of the conversation. We talk more than anything about our culture. We talk more than anything about how they can add value to what we're doing, how we can develop these guys. And then the last piece is, where do you have to be competitive? And where are we in terms of where it's slotted for us? Because the last thing you're going to do is kill the culture in your locker room by doing something irrational by saying, man, I got to have this guy. Well, there's 120 guys in the locker room that have been here, that have worked their tails off. More than anything, before you ever get to the money piece, it's a culture piece. Every single guy that we bring in, high school and transfer, it's, will they add to our culture, or is there a risk that they take away from it? Because if there's any risk at this point in this program, if there's any risk that they would take away from our culture, we pass. We keep moving. There's too many good players, and especially geographically where we are, there's too many good players that want to be here that can help us.
Alex, with recruiting in mind, and your name, as we all talked about for weeks, just keeps popping up in speculation. Are guys that you're recruiting asking you about that?
Yeah, I would say that's probably as many conversations as I've had with recruits. It would equal the same amount of times I've answered the same question in that regard. Rightfully so. And I tell guys the same exact thing that I said here at the podium a few weeks ago. We're working incredibly hard to go finish this season the right way. I've chased nothing. We've had no conversations. All we care about right now is building on today. And as guys ask, as they should, they're coming here to play for our staff, and I get that part, and I've been as honest with them as I have been with you guys. But I understand the concern, I understand the question, and we handle each one as brutally honest as imaginably possible. But we're really excited about the class. We're really excited about the guys coming in. We're recruiting at a high clip. We've got some phone calls coming in now that you're like, man, I thought you weren't coming here. Now you do want to come here, which is incredible and should continue to elevate our level of play here. But it certainly comes up in virtually every conversation.
Coach, is the biggest difference between year 1 and 2 and this year on both sides of the ball depth that you trust that you can put in the game now? Not just having numbers, but guys you trust to make plays.
I would tell you the biggest difference from year 1 to year 2 to year 3 is that it's become more player-driven. The standard of what we do in every aspect of our program is slowly but surely being upheld by the players. The players are holding each other accountable more. I don't think we're perfect there. I'm continuing to challenge our leadership of our team to continuously grow in that regard. But I would tell you more than anything, that's been the biggest difference for us, is the guys are playing for each other. There's an elite level of connection, and they're holding each other accountable to a standard. Thank you, guys. Appreciate y'all.
No, I just came for you.
I appreciate it.